When you create web applications or mobile applications, you need some kind of a method where users can be authenticated into your application. Traditionally, developers had to write cumbersome, complex code to integrate authentication and authorization modules into the web app. Azure App Service provides built-in authentication and authorization support, so you can sign in users and access data by writing minimal or no code in your web app. Secure authentication and authorization requires deep understanding of security, including federation, encryption, JSON Web Tokens, in short called as JWT, grant types, and so on. App Services provides these utilities so that you can spend more time and energy on providing business value to your customer. Let's understand how this works. The authentication and authorization modules runs in the same environment as your application code. So let's say you picked up Tomcat 9.0 or Python 3.8. The authentication and authorization module is going to run inside the same environment. When this particular module, authentication and authorization module, is enabled, every incoming HTTP request passes through it before being handled by your application code. This module will handle several things on your app. For example, it will authenticate users with a particular service provider that you select here. The service providers that we have as on today are Azure Active Directory, Microsoft, Facebook, Google, and Twitter. These are also called as identity providers. It would also validate, store, and refresh the tokens that are provided by the user. It will manage the authenticated session and also inject identity information into request header. This module runs separately from your application code and is configured using the app settings that you see on the screen here. You do not need any SDKs or writing the code in a specific language. You don't even need to change the application code that you've already written in. Authentication and authorization are two different concepts. So once the authentication is completed, you would then get into authorization part. Let's understand the authorization behavior. In the Azure portal, you can configure app service authorizations with a number of behaviors. The first one is allowing anonymous requests. That means if I select this, no action is required. This option will defer authorization of unauthenticated traffic to your application code. For authenticated requests, app service passes along authentication information in the HTTP headers. So this option will provide more flexibility in handling anonymous requests. It lets you present multiple sign-in providers to your users. But if you'd like to provide a specific identity provider to the user, you may want to select this. So this option is log in with a particular provider. Once you have selected an authenticated provider, let's say Facebook in this case, the app service will redirect all anonymous requests to that provider.